Welcome back to another GeekaWHat video. Today I'm kicking off part 1 of my ultimate Ryzen 7 PC build guide. This 3-part series will take you through the parts I've chosen, how you can pick your own tutorial for how to build this system, and then followed finally by in-depth benchmarks and answers to the frequently asked questions asked in the comment section below. In this part I'm going to take you over my component choices and justifications behind them, so let's jump right into it with the CPU. The CPU I went for was of course a Ryzen 7 CPU. It's kind of in the name, their lower end 1700 chip. This provides the best price to performance offering while also giving some incredible performance with 8 cores and 16 threads. From my testing, and you can view my dedicated video in the card section now, it beats out Intel's Core i7-6800K, which very much would have been its direct competitor prior to X299 by around 10 to 20% and even more in professional applications such as editing software and 3D rendering. It's a very cool and efficient running chip and comes with a fantastic stock cooler, but of course we will be using some aftermarket CPU cooling to give us some good overclocking leverage. Talking about CPU cooling, I went for Cooler Master's Master Liquid Pro 240. It's got a 240mm radiator, or a 2x120mm rad as some people would refer to it, which fits nicely in the front of the case we've gone for. It includes 2 of their nice silent fans with rubber dampened corners by default, but you can of course add another 2 fans. I opted for their RGB LED fans, which they kindly provided to go on the inside to give a push-pull configuration. The tubing's nice and long and will run very easily to your CPU, and the water block has a blue LED which fits in with my overall colour agenda, shall we say, for this system. For the motherboard, I hit on my friends at ASUS who kindly provided me with their X370F STRIX gaming board. I'll have a review of this up on the channel very soon, but I've been very impressed. Design wise, it's fantastic in a nice neutral grey and black colour scheme. It's got a fantastic I/O as well, with USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type A and Type C for 10 gigabits of USB 3.1 bandwidth. It's also got 4 RAM DIMM slots as well, with support for SLI and Crossfire. It really does tick all the boxes. Overall, it's a fantastic motherboard and also not one of the most expensive X370 boards I've seen, so it's fairly attainable for most people and fits well within this build's calibre and build's budget with that Ryzen 7 1700 CPU. For the RAM, Crucial kindly provided me with 64GB of DDR4 memory, clocked at 3000 MHz. Ryzen loves fast RAM and this really ticks all the boxes once again. Having a lot of RAM for large video projects and 4K files is really important, and many people go, you don't need 64 gigs. But believe you me, from the photos I shared on Twitter the other day, I've literally hit 63 gigabytes of RAM when putting together large video editing projects such as this series. One thing to note is that Ryzen can be a little bit temperamental with RAM. It likes fast clocked RAM, but did have some issues on this ASUS motherboard with all 4 DIMMs as 64GB in a 4x16 DIMM configuration. It does take a lot of tweaking to get working, for example enabling XMP. You also have to change the RAM timings manually as well, slow things down a little bit in order to get things to work, but speed may be a sacrifice you're willing to make in order to get the full 64GB of RAM availability. For storage, I would recommend people pick up a 4 or 6 terabyte hard drive when editing 4K footage for archiving, but personally I've chosen to move my mass storage into a separate server, the video project playlist for which I'll link in the card section now. Now in terms of on-board storage, the boot drive I've gone for is also from Crucial. Massive shout out to them for the support on this project. It's a 525GB M.2 SSD. Installing Windows and all of my most frequently used applications on this drive is so fast. I believe I recorded like a 6.5 second boot, which is incredible, especially when I've got all my games and all my applications loaded on here and a bit of a messy desktop wallpaper. Those things all contribute to slowing down boot times, but nevertheless it worked through like a champ. I've also got the sister project to this M.2 drive, the 2.5-inch SSD as well in this system, another 525GB solid state drive. The sacrifice is some speed, but uses the SATA interface instead, as the M.2 drives do take up some of your PCIe lanes and may restrict certain Crossfire and SLI or expansion card options. I'm using the secondary drive for all of my ongoing video projects and using it as a really fast read and write drive for Adobe Premiere Pro, which loves fast storage. It's all good having a great 8-core 16-thread CPU and 64 gigs of RAM and a good graphics card, but if your storage isn't up to scratch, you're going to see a major bottleneck there. With read and write speeds in the region of 5 to 600 megabytes per second, you really won't be disappointed with either of these SSDs. For the GPU in this build, I went for a GTX 1060, a 6GB model, which was once again kindly provided by the guys over at ASUS, and it's been performing like a champ. The 1060 has actually come out in many testing scenarios on par with the 1070 and even 1080 in Adobe Premiere Pro tests, and is an officially certified card by Adobe, which once again errs on the side of caution in terms of reliability. It's the latest version with the higher bandwidth throughput this graphics card as well. It's very cool running, gives you all the advantages of Nvidia's GeForce experience, such as the H.265 encoder on the card, allowing you to seamlessly stream to Twitch or to YouTube or to record gameplay or desktop footage, which is going to be really useful for me as a content creator. For the case, I went for Cooler Master's MasterCase 5. It gives fantastic modularity options, so allows you to remove hard drive bays, for example, and add different accessories in, add thicker push-pull radiators in, as I have done. It's got loads and loads of space for an ATX motherboard. It separates your power supply in its own little zone and has loads of support for SSD mounting options if you don't want to use the hard drive cages. It's also got 5¼ bays, although the mount for this can also be removed to increase radiator mounting support and also give you a little bit more space to add other accessories in if you wish. It supports top mounted fans and comes by default with 3 140mm fans, which gives you great airflow options straight out of the box. I opted not to step up to the Maker 5 version from Cooler Master, which has a nice tempered glass side panel, as I'm often going in and out of my case, swapping parts out, testing graphics cards or RAM or storage, that kind of thing, and having a tempered glass side panel can be a bit more fiddly and a bit more delicate, and I've almost dropped many a tempered glass side panel. I didn't want to do that today, so opted for the standard plastic window with a nice little bezel around the outside to give me some good cable mounting options and a bit more flexibility in mounting LED strips and that kind of thing, and making it look really, really nice. For the power supply, it was another Cooler Master affair. The V750 is a fantastic power supply that I've owned for around about 6 months now. They sent me this for my Cable 8 build guide, which can be viewed in the card section now, and I've been nothing short of impressed. But that wraps it up for the first part of my Ryzen 7 editing and gaming PC build guide. I've been using this now for a couple of weeks and it's sitting right behind me. This video is actually going to be edited on the system, so do let me know what you think in the description below. Part 2, where I show you how to build this PC, will be up very, very soon as well, and I'll plonk that in the card section on release. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. If you got any questions, comments, queries, either tweet me on it at GeekaWHat or leave them in the comment section down below. As always though, do subscribe and we'll see you in the next GeekaWHat video.